Hi participants. So once again, my name is Divine, and in this video I will take you through the basics of emerging trends of globalization, culture, and international project management practices. So here I will start by introducing participants to international development projects ID, the relevance of project management in globalization, and the role of culture in project management practices. Subsequently, I will proceed to introduce participants to best practices in project management from major organizations around the globe, emphasizing worldwide professional organizations like the Project Management Institute and International Project Management Association. Participants will also be introduced to Hofstede's 1984 Culture Dimension of Management and explain why projects fail in certain parts of the world. And as you can see on the slide, this is the sixth in the series of the MOOC lecture on urban infrastructure planning and project management. So we start first by trying to understand what is international development projects. That is also called sometimes donor funded projects. And we say international development projects in developing countries cuts across different continents and often require international project teams. Such projects will have to be delivered in the spirit of globalization and understanding and respect for different cultures. This is what will help achieve international best practices in project management. International development projects are used by donor agencies to deliver international aid to developing countries. And so this answers the first question of what are international development projects on the slide. These projects are delivered by countries and their Brentwood organizations, often in the form of bilateral agreements through government to government agreements or an NGO. That is, international development projects may come twofold. Those by the Brentwood organizations, which may involve mega projects to be executed in the recipient countries per loan or special purpose agreement, or through a bilateral agreement between countries. The characteristics of such projects are that they are typically tailored for developing and emerging economies, for poverty alleviation, health care, improving access to quality education, and infrastructure development, towards addressing the sustainable development goals. And so this is something that is very important, and that is why they are often called the donor funded projects, and typically you find them in developing countries. And so what then should be the next thing to do? Then we need to be able to understand the relevance of project management in globalization to the extent that we are getting involved in international development projects. And in this slide, we will also then look at how professional associations have come into play, including looking at the Project Management Institute, International Project Management Association, and then we look at culture and project management practices. The relevance of project management in globalization, and looking at an introduction to Project Management Institute and then International Project Management Association. Infrastructure projects have long been project-oriented businesses that require robust management principles. This has become more relevant because of increasing stakeholder demand and complexity of modernity and the requirements placed on infrastructure planners and project managers. Thus, project management has become the key factor for project success in a globalized world with multiple and complex uncertainties and risk. This makes project management the 21st century tool to navigate and achieve project success. To this extent, every business from construction through manufacturing to IT and government now see all its operations in a project-oriented manner so as to leverage project management tools for success. So in these modern days, it will be unthinkable to execute a work without considering it as a project, because that is what will give you the leverage in using project management tools to achieve success. And as I said earlier, project management has developed into a professional level in terms of discipline, and now we have the Project Management Institute and the International Project Management Association, representing the two global associations providing certification for project management professionals across the world. Project Management Institute is based in the US, while International Project Management Association is based in Europe. Most certified project managers either belong to the PMI, that is Project Management Institute, and or IPMA, that's International Project Management, or both. PMI has produced the Project Management Body of Knowledge, that's PM Book, which provides best practices guidelines for project management professionals in the application of project management tools across the globe. The IPMA version of this is the Prince, which is also available and can be found online. And so there's the recognition that because of globalization, now PM practice is also recognized and certified professionally across the globe. And this is where the issue of culture then comes in. And so in terms of culture, we have culture and project management practices plus some examples of case studies delivered here. Culture and project management practices plus some examples of case study companies with high maturity project management practices work across the world and have to be able to understand the culture in different countries. And here the work of Hofstede, who has developed a seminal work in project in culture and cultural dimension in management, and is widely read. The work of Hofstede 1984 provides seminal arguments on how culture influences project management across the globe. Hofstede states that the nature of management skills is such that they are culturally specific. A management technique or philosophy that is appropriate in one culture is not necessarily appropriate in another, quote and unquote. Hofstede subsequently looked at cultural differences in more than 50 countries around the world and used these to discuss how these differences may affect the validity of management techniques and philosophies in various countries. Hofstede identified four main dimensions of knowledge as the Hofstede cultural dimension, and they affect management practices around the world. And these are power distance, uncertainty avoidance, individualism and collectivism, and masculinity and femininity, which has been discussed earlier in one of the previous slides. The framework by Hofstede is used for analyzing national culture and also the effect of cultural differences on management and organizations. Thus, it may be possible to use this framework to analyze why projects succeed or fail in different parts of the world. Participants are to read related literature on how Hofstede defines culture, and his studies the studies that relate to infrastructure planning and project management for discussion. And so As a project manager, one has to be clearly aware of the cultural dimension, and Hofstede and other frameworks are available to guide our understanding of what to do. In terms of recap, as we reach the end of today's lecture on globalization, culture, and international project management practices, I want to take a moment so that we can think about what we've discussed. Now in this lecture, we have engaged by introducing participants to international development projects, the relevance of project management in globalization, and the role of culture in project management practices. Case studies of best practices in project management, including introduction to worldwide professional organizations like the PMI and IPMA, have been discussed, and using culture to demonstrate why projects fail in certain parts of the world. Now, ask yourself, if you were handed a multi-million-dollar funded urban infrastructure project in sub-Saharan Africa, what steps will you take to ensure a culturally inclusive project management team to engender achieving project success? So, on our final thoughts, the essence of good project management is dependent on the appropriate tools that are selected right from the onset. That's from project planning phase through the project implementation phase. However, culture also influences the management practices around the world. While project management tools and philosophies have global relevance, it is important for one not to lose sight of the nuances of cultural dimensions in ensuring inclusive management approaches. Appropriate references have been provided to guide participants' reading and understanding. And so, in wrapping up, participants can reach me on my email address in the script, or on Facebook, or on Instagram. This lecture can be shared or adapted based on the Creative Commons license. It is important to mention that this lecture has been made possible by our project partners in terms of RW TH Aachen University in Germany, in collaboration with the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology in Kumasi, Ghana, under the Bridge project. And with that, we want to thank the DAAD, that's the German Academic Exchange Service, and the Foreign Ministry, Economic and Cooperation Ministry in Germany for their support. Thank you very much.